All right, so this is going to be page 25, exploring slopes. So here is our page on the inside. It just gets folded in half here. So let's work with nice slopes, stuff we've worked on, we've been working on, stuff we know, stuff we love. So our x here is telling us we can start at time 0, which means this plus 1 is what we start with. And then remember, if it starts at time 0, its partner number is our y-intercept. This 4 here, since it's positive and it's attached to the x like that, we add 4. So we have 5, 9, 13, 17, 21, 25, 29, 33. Now let's graph this. So 0, 1, start at 0, go up to 1, and we graph our dot. 1, 5 is the next partner pair, so we start at 0, go to 1, up to 5, plot our dot. We can't do that anymore, right? But we can go the reverse direction, and let's figure out the pattern to get from this dot here to this dot here. We went to the right 1, up 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we do the opposite movement, we have to go down 4 to the left 1. And this is where we would plot our backwards dot, right? Just to help us fill in the rest of our table. And we would do that again, because we can, and see how my red dots are still in line with my black dots. That's good, because this is a linear equation, which means it makes a straight line. Let's look at B. So our x value is telling us we can start at time 0, so time 0's number is going to be 6. The number by itself will always go with your time 0 as long as your x is x by itself and not in a parentheses. Then the -2 is next to our x, so we are subtracting 2 down our table, and this x is also regular size, so we know we're not multiplying. So we have 4, 2, 0, -2, -4, -6, -8, -10. When I graph this 0, 6 here, I start at my origin and go up to 6. Then I have 1, 4. I go to the right 4 on the right 1 on the x-axis, go to 4. Go to 2, go to the right 2, up to 3, 0, go to the right 3, and plot on the x-axis. We have 4, -2, then we have 5, -4, 6, -6, 7, -8, and that's all we can do. So again, as we can see, we are going down to the right 1, all the way down our table, just to get from one dot to the next. So I could go and do the opposite movement. I go to the left 1, up to, and I could potentially plot a dot here that is also in line with all of my black dots. And it still is part of the line, so that's good. We were golden. Now I want you to notice here that this 4 is positive and my line is positive, it's going up. This -2 is negative, my line is going down. And these slopes are what tell us how the direction of which our graph will go. So this is going up because our 4 is positive, 4 is our slope, it's also our common difference. This -2 means our slope's going down because we are going down on our table as well. So I want you guys to try C on your own and see if we get the same thing. So again, pause the video, see if you get the same thing. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do the the calculator fraction, and also show you where you can find your calculator in your Chromebook. So if you go to the bottom here where this launcher is, click the up arrow, you should see a TI-84 plus CE. This is the same as our calculators in class. If the calculator doesn't pop up right away, log in with your school Google account and it should. Okay, so this is exactly the calculator that we are using in class, which is nice. So what we wanted to do was 1 plus 1/3. So to make a fraction bar, you go to alpha, y equals, enter. And there's my fraction, and there's my 1/3. Hit enter. And look, we get 4/3. Let's figure out the next one. I'm going to hit go up, hit enter so that it copies this, plus another way to find your fraction is go to math. We want to go to fraction and then enter. And we get 1/3. And look, now we have, did I hit the 3? I did not. Copy that, edit, 3, enter. And look, now we get 5/3. Go up, hit enter, so it copies it, plus alpha y equals, we're going to add 1/3. And look, 5/3 plus 1/3 is 2. So we got a nice number again. Let's do 2 plus 1/3. Again, this is slow rolling here. Oops, not 13. 1/3. Now we got 7/3. Let's copy that 7/3. Go up, enter, plus 1/3. We get 8/3. Then we do 8/3 plus 1/3, which is going to give us, oops, that's not what I wanted. We want to do 1/3, and that's going to give us a nice number of 3. Then we do 3 plus 1/3 is going to give us 10/3. How do you know that, Miss Raoul? Because I practiced my fractions. 10/3 plus 1/3 is going to give us 11/3. But I want you to practice this movement, and that's all we're going to need. So let's go back to our table. Okay, so we start with a -2 because our x is saying times 0, so we can use -2 with a 0's partner for the x. Then we are subtracting by 4 down our table, so when we do that, we get -6, -10, -14, -18, -22, -26, -30, -34. So I'm going to plot these two dots. So 0, -2 is right here. 1, -6 is right here. Now the red dots I got from doing the opposite movement. So from here to here, we go down 4 to the right 1. So if I want to do the opposite movement, I start at my y-intercept and I go up 4 to the right 1. I'm sorry, up 4 to the left 1, and then up 4 to the left 1. And those red dots are still in line with our graph. If we had gone backwards on our table, we would see those points. All right. Next up, we have y equals 1/3 x plus 1. So again, our x is starting at times 0, so that's good. That means that our number here is going to be our number we start with on the y. We are going to be adding by 1/3 down our table. I'm going to show you a quick video on how to do 1 plus 1/3. I'm going to do the first 3, I'm going to do all of the numbers on the calculator, and then I'll have this filled out. Okay, so now that we've filled out our table using our fancy calculator, let's look at this. We don't want to graph these ugly 4/3, 5/3, 7/3, 8/3, 10/3, 11/3 fractions, right? They're not going to be nice. So what we're going to do is we are going to put a box around the pairs that have nice numbers. So we have 0, 1, 3, 2, and 6, 3. Okay? Now I want you guys to notice something here. Let's do some funky colors. Let's use blue. How do we get from this 0 in the x-axis to the 3? That's the same as getting to this 3 to the 6. Well, I'm adding by 3. Okay? How do I get from this, let's do a different color. Let's do this bright green. How do we get from this 1 to this 2? I add by 1. Same 2 to 3, I add by 1. where do we see this green 1 adding by 1 and this blue adding by 3 in our equation here, right? In the graph part, because what we add by is next to our x. Well, I see that 3 in my denominator. I see that 1 in my numerator. So that 1 is going to be how we add our y's. And then this 3 at the bottom is how we add on our x's, okay? I know that's the reverse because, you know, y's are on top, x's on the bottom, but then we look at this table and our x's are on top and our y's at the bottom. I know that's confusing. It's just one of those things that you just got to keep in your big, beautiful brains, right? So we're going to keep that in mind for our next problem, but let's go forth and graph this guy, right? So we start at 0, 1, and then we had 3, 2, so that's going to be here. And then we had 6, 3, so that's right here. Now notice our movements, right, are going to the left, to the right 3, up 1, to the right 3, up 1. Very nice. So if I want to do the opposite movements, I want to go down down 1 to the left 3, right? To keep it in line with the rest of my dots. And again, those red ones are ones that aren't on our table now, but if we gone backwards on our table, they would be, okay? So let's look at this next guy. So we start with our x's starting with times 0. So we can start with this -5 here in our table. Now, what I want us to be careful of is looking at our denominator. Again, this is how we add in our x's, and we want to start there. So we're adding by 2 in our x's. So that means we're going to go from 0 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8. Again, all of these we're adding by 2. And you want to start with your x's first. And I'm going to do this thing here so I don't get confused and accidentally make the wrong mistake. I'm going to box in the numbers that I'm going to be using only, okay? Now, because I added my x's, now I can figure out my y's. Well, my y's, we are adding by 3 as we go to each of those x steps that we chose, right? These ones in the middle would be ugly fractions in between. Those ones in the between, these would be ugly fractions. We don't want to deal with ugly fractions. So -5 plus 3 gives us -2. -2 plus 3 is 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 3 is 8. So let's graph these boxed in nicey nice numbers. So we got 0, -5. We got 2, -2. We got 4, 1. We have 6, 4. And then we have 8, 8. What? Miss Rawolf. That's a 3. Or I'm sorry, that's a 7. So we have 8, 7. Now notice, to get from one point to the next, we go up 3 to the right 2, or to the right 2, up 3. So we can do the opposite movement. So if we did this, we do this, and we get that dot right there. Okay? Oh, maybe make that red, because that wasn't part of our graph. So in our table here, we would see this red dot if we had gone backwards in our table. Okay? All right, here's the next one. Let's see if you can try this one on your own. Again, use your calculator if you need it. All right, so here is what you should have gotten. Hopefully that negative sign didn't trip you up. So the 4 on the bottom means we go every 4 numbers for our x's. So I boxed in the x4 and the x's 8. Then this negative, we're going to say is the -5. So we're going to -5 for our y's, which gives us 1 and -4. And we started with the 6. Here's what it looks like graphed. Now, what I want you guys to notice here is going from one dot to the next, we go down 5, and then we go to the right 4, right? Well, this down 5 matches our number up here minus, oops, let me do that in the right color, matches our minus 5 in the numerator. This right 4 matches our number positive 4 in our denominator that's attached to the x. So just think about that when you do your graphing, okay? All right, this is the entire video. Tomorrow we're going to do way more practice on this. So don't freak out if you're like, what is happening? Again, we are going to do so much more tomorrow. All right, everyone, have a great day.